Hey YouTube, Angry Dog VW, back in the kitchen with you, and I'm on to part 2. I don't know exactly how many parts there will be of how I make a cheesecake, and what I have here is kind of everything laid out. I want to concentrate right now on making the crust, and I have the food processor out, and it's not absolutely necessary. You could put graham crackers or cookies or whatever you're using as a crust in a Ziploc baggie and beat the pudding out of them. But I do like using the food processor, and it's an easy cleanup. In this case, we're making a turtle cheesecake, and for the crust, I've chosen a chocolate chip crisp cookie, and I am not displaying the bag that it came in, but you and maybe Captain Jerk could guess if I said Ahoy Mateys as to what brand of cookies these are. But this crisp cookie makes a really good crust, and you know, if you want a traditional cheesecake and you want to use graham crackers, that's great. I find that works great if I'm doing a basic New York cheesecake. But if I'm doing something a little different, where I'm decorating it or adding some flavor, doing some other things, I like to pair the crust with the filling. And in this case, since we're doing chocolate ganache, that's going to go over the whole cheesecake, and we're going to do some pralines and some caramel, I find that this works really well. And you would think that after making cheesecakes for over 20 years that I would have an exact science and number in here to say, well, you need 12 cookies. Well, the thing is, each cookie's a little bit different, each batch is a little bit different, and quite frankly, I've never really taken the time nor the inkling to say exactly how many cookies. So I eyeball what I think I need, and as long as that's enough to cover the bottom of the crust on the pan, I'm fine. And if I've got more than I need, then I will pull it up the sides a little bit. No problem, no foul. And then worst case scenario, you don't use all of them, you throw some of them away. So to keep the sound down a little bit, I have ground the majority of them up already, but it's time for me to add the melted butter. Now, when you use graham crackers, you'll add sugar to the crust, but I don't do that with cookies. They're sweet enough. I don't add any additional sugar to them. And with my food processor, I could open the top and put the melted butter in while I'm doing it, but in this case I'm just going to add a little bit around the sides, and I'm going to pulse the button and hit it a little bit. I have find that erring on the side of caution and putting a little bit in and then going back is the way to go. I can always add more. It's a little hard to take the butter out. What you'd have to do if you get it too moist is add more cookies. Then you're definitely going to end up with more than you need. So noise alert, just going to pulse this a couple times and kind of get that started. And really what I'm looking for here is I'm just looking for a consistency that's packable. In this case, I don't know if you can see this packs, but it's still a little loose. So I'm just going to add a little more butter, and then I'll just kind of mix that a little bit by hand. So I'm just going to put a little bit in, not a lot, maybe another tablespoon or so maybe, and then just kind of give that a good stir. And again, all I'm looking for is that it's going to pack. That's it. I just want it. And if you put way too much in it, don't worry about it. I mean, you'll have a dense crust. But what will happen is, if you put too much in, is it'll come out the bottom. It'll leak a little bit. Now, if you've got your pan in something like this, this piece that I have here, you know, the silicone sleeve, it'll be caught in the sleeve. If you've double wrapped in with aluminum foil, it'll be under there. If you don't wrap your cheesecake and you don't do a water bath, then any extra butter is going to run out the bottom of the pan because they're not waterproof, and they will end up in your oven, and that'll be kind of a smoky, steamy mess. So just fair warning. So after you get it, I'm just going to dump these in, and I always had trouble finding, you know, the exact right utensil to use for this, but as it turns out, the top of my food processor comes with the push cup, and the push cup actually kind of works well for this. So in the bottom of this pan, I have the cutout of that parchment paper that I'm using right now. And then all I'm going to do is spread this out, and then I'm going to use this to tamp it down. And I'm looking for, you know, the bottom of the crust to be somewhere just a little shy of like a 1/4 of an inch. So it doesn't have to be real thin, but I don't want it real thick either, you know. So anything 1/4 inch or below is going to work really well with the cheesecake. So that's pretty much it for making the crust. Then if this was graham crackers, I would throw it in a 300-degree oven for about 8 minutes and par bake it just a little bit. But because it is cookies, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to refrigerate this while I make the filling. So I'm going to get that prepared and get that in the refrigerator and get it chilling, and then when we come back, I will start on making the filling. So maybe this will be a 4-part series.